We are about to get into buying for your business. But before we do that, we're just going to do a short activity. So if you will, everyone please stand up. Alright, so we're just going to do a little game. This game is a very intense game, very important game. Right? I want you to tilt the person next to you and stick out your hand. Right? So I see people do this, some people do this, like ready to play chess and problems. And what you're going to do, I want you to, everybody know this game. You're going to do for me, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Are you know that game? Simple and easy. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Now, anybody here don't know the rules for rock, paper, scissors? Bump? You don't bump. This game don't bump. So it's best out of three. Well, yeah, best out of three. Alright? Now, scissors beats paper. Rock beats scissors. That shouldn't have to be explained, but I just did. Any questions? Paper covers rock. Good? Lovely. So, fun. Paper defeats rock. Rock defeats scissors. And scissors defeats paper. Anytime. Alright, so anytime. On your marks. Get set. Go. Look, go again. This is the tiebreaker here. As you lose, sit down. No, you win. Alright, so those who are standing, for the other person who's standing next to you, please. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Let's go. Let's out the shoot. So you win? Alright. So we have 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, let's go. So I want the 3 here to play the 3 on this side. You make 6? Alright, so you wait to get one out of the tree. Your marks, get set, go! like it. Let's start the tree. Who went about there? Alright. Come in the middle. Come in the middle. You have the tree here. Let's start the tree. Let's start the tree. Let's start. No, let's start. Go around here. 1, 2, start now. So who is now? Alright, let me get it for now, let me ask you a question. Were you able to manage yourselves amongst the group? Did you see any cheating taking place?
Yes.
I see about 7 rounds in the back there. So could you agree that in business, the industry is come with their own set of rules, their own set of norms? Do you see that sometimes? Okay, good. What about transparency? Was there transparency in this process here? Are you happy and satisfied with your winner here? Yes? Okay, good. Congratulations. In business, you see, the point of this course is to teach you different building blocks to getting whole, to getting big picture. This part of the course, buying for your business, we want to underscore all the things that you need to get your equipment, your raw material, and the inputs for your business. It's very, very important. It can make a difference between you having a high quality product or a cheap product. Alright? So, when buying equipment, you have to consider what an equipment is. What equipment is hand gloves considered equipment? Anybody? Is rubber boots considered equipment for your business? Yes? No? Maybe? If you need it? Alright. So here we define equipment as machines, tools, workshop fittings, vehicles, etc. that a business needs to make your goods or supply your services. Next. So the question was asked when you're buying the equipment, similar to who here ever buy a car? You ask yourself questions like, can I get spare parts for the vehicle if it go down? Ask yourself, can I get spare parts for my machinery? Am I purchasing the machinery with spare parts as part of the deal? Do they have a regular supplier for the equipment? Because, I mean, Trinidad doesn't make equipment, do they? Everything's imported. But even though it's imported, there's support, there's sales and after service. Ask these questions whenever you're purchasing equipment for your business. Does the equipment come with guarantees? Who here ever had to take back a vehicle because it failed under the warranty? Yeah? You ever buy one of those, I know who's drive one of those, but them hybrid vehicles. What has happened when it goes down and none of the mechanics in the country knows how to deal with it?
And certified technicians to repair it.
There are no certified technicians to repair it. These are questions you must ask the purchaser. You must ask whoever is the dealer, the local dealer in your country.
And the hybrid system is expensive to change.
And the what?
When the hybrid system going down, the damage is plenty money to change.
It's plenty money to change. So you have to consider what you're buying. Is there another one that's better than what you're considering right now? Do we have 2 or 3 options? You must ask yourself these questions when buying for your business. How long will it last? Who here wants to open manufacturing businesses? Manufacturing. 1, 2, 3, 4. And what's the life cycle of our old manufacturing, well, our manufacturing businesses? 20 years. Some people have machines that last 25 years, some 15 years. But that length of time is a long time. Do you agree? And if you buy any equipment, let me say from a distant country, let me say Germany, you have German engineering, what is the support behind that? Follow what I'm saying? Is it inexpensive to operate? Some equipment have consumables with it. It's like doing an oil change. It's like changing your brakes. Think about your car. There's consumables that goes along with the car. You can buy brakes at $250 or $1,500 if you're driving. Does it require special training to operate? Who here have training in machinery? Anybody? Okay, good. And you will find that fixing equipment on a process line is vitally important. When your production line is down, you're losing money every day, you need someone to come and fix it. Is specialized persons at my disposal to come and handle my machinery should it go down. When you're doing research, you're going online, okay, packing machines. Don't just look for the price alone. Don't just look for composite output alone. You must consider these factors when buying equipment for your business.
And there's another factor that they did not put in the slide, and that is IT. So the software.
Yeah.
Some equipment comes with proprietary software, and if it goes down, or something happens with your display or your control panel, and that software got corrupted, you have to go back to the manufacturer to get the software. So we don't think of those things until it goes wrong. So having a spare copy on record will help you. Otherwise, you can't use the machine.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. So many times you have to buy new licenses, don't have upgrades to the technology, whether it be PLC system or whatever it is. What about renewable energy? Who here really consider renewable energy for their businesses? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. Now, this may not apply in our country. What does it? Is the grid system reliable? Our electricity grid system, is it reliable?
No.
Yes? No. For the most part? Solution, part of the equipment that you'll be considering for your business is a generator. Is that what you say? Solar. Solar. Generator, solar.
Michael, it says I know some system,
right? What about the government incentive? We just looked at procurement requirement for companies wishing to work with the government. What do you think about tap into some of these incentives the government have. What do you think about that? What somebody said? Plenty, no? No, I know people who actually told me that they're not doing that because they find it's too much of work. Yeah. That's too much of paperwork and that process too long. I say very long to get money.
Well, I can't hope.
But I'm putting it to you that it does work. I am putting it to you, it is worthwhile to consider in your business to tap into some of these government incentives behind renewable energy.
Usually why persons don't like to do government incentives is because the capital requires you putting out that capital in advance and then claiming back for it. And so it's usually persons have a problem with doing that because in the first place I don't have the money, so I'm not going to do it. But there's an incentive for solar panels. So if you want to put in solar panels, both for domestic and for businesses, there's an incentive, a government incentive for putting in a solar system. And so what you are required to put out the capital in the beginning, but you get back that money as an incentive.
Well,
Yeah, percentage. But there are some that is 100%.
That's the comment when they bounce up on the vehicle.
It's 100%.
Have you ever seen companies with a fleet of CNG vehicles? Yes?
Yeah.
They tap into the
They tap into
incentive.
that.
So, beside you see those kind of incentives and things. Basically, when they bounce a government vehicle, fix a vehicle, let's say I'm going to have to get money. You don't know when you're going to get money. That is the whole problem. I think people just avoid going through those things with the government. They don't know when.
However,
They don't have a
if
time.
you're prompted, you can still apply it. Yes, you can.
What was, okay, well, two things. One, if you're going to buy it anyway, then just buy it and wait on your money. But at least in my case, accounting wise, my advice has always been good for us to put that out there because you don't know any money wrong.
I wouldn't, but
Yeah, but you would still get it, one. And two, I'm telling you, from the purpose of accounting, when you're doing up your accounts and stuff, you are able to apply it over a period of time. And sometimes you still get the benefit. So I know companies who have done that, and they are still enjoying the incentives that they enjoy when they initially set up their factory. And they're still enjoying it.
You have to have the mindset of a big business owner. You have to understand what you do now.
And they
It's
are
not for
definitely
tomorrow's
good.
benefit. It may happen
But they're
4 years,
able to do right over
in 5 years,
in
in
terms
10
of
years. Yeah?
But to get it there is a process.
Question.
According to the government, it is up to 25,000 rate. How often can you, let's say, I do it this year, can I do it like next year, and still get to be like that? Well, our solar system piece by piece every year, and then directly every single year, then is that possible?
That's a very good question.
Yes.
Do not have the specific number for
Yes,
it.
that is how you have to do it. Because if you put in the whole system at once, the rebate only applies once. So if you want to maximize rebate, you have to separate it and scale up as time goes by. That will apply for solar energy and kind, well, secure agriculture, cover agriculture systems, moving them forward on the passive market.
Are they capping it for 25? Are they capping it at 25,000 over the whole period of the rebate? Or is it per annum, 25,000 per annum?
Well, physical year for the Ministry of Agriculture. So I think their physical year starts from November to starts in November.
incentives everywhere. From agriculture to manufacturing, there are incentives. Look it up, include it in your plan. Next, please. Buying raw materials. Raw materials are the materials that go into your goods that you make. Alright? You need to ensure that your business has sufficient raw materials for production. You should buy materials from reliable suppliers and make sure that the quality is good. Also, the more you buy, the cheaper you get at that. So, as you develop your business idea, look at your item, itemize how you're putting it together, and each part of the process, what you need to get the finished product. There's a wealth of information.
So by this token, you will need to know exactly how much raw material you need for your business. Correct? So don't hazard a guess. People keep thinking that they will fix it. But no, don't hazard a guess. Sit down and work on how much is the raw material. And how do you identify what is a reliable supplier for your business? That's my question. How do you identify who is a reliable supplier for your business?
Anybody?
Anybody?
So when you first are going to consistent raw materials without any needs, they will also probably bring it for you, but you have to spend money to go for it.
Right.
Okay. Now, excellent. You guys are hearing this. Someone who can maintain a stable price. That tells you that he has his cost covered, he's profitable, and he's being fair with you. Alright? And in terms of the raw materials and the parts that go into it, understanding the equipment for your business, let's say it gives a certain output. You can back calculate, reverse calculate how much you need to get the maximum output from your machinery. Alright? If you have a square footage of land that you're dealing with, you would know what is the maximum capacity for that land, and thereby estimate how much seeds you need, how much fertilizers you need for the seeds. It can be done. It's a mathematics. You just need to sit down, pen to paper, and write it out. Any questions? Yeah? Buying finished goods. Now, the thing about it is, there's a lot of control that you have, I should say, all of the moving parts when it comes to manufacturing, you have influence over. When it comes to finished goods, you have to use what somebody else has manufactured and incorporate into your business. Alright? So many times, you're gonna have to be dealing with decisions like, what type of goods will my customer want? What type of goods will I provide to that customer? What prices are they willing to pay? Is the market an expensive market? Am I in the gourmet market? Do I supply fancy restaurants? Do I have bigger margins? Next question I have to ask, do customers want quality assured goods? What is quality assured goods? Anybody?
If you have either source location or
Right.
speaks quality standard.
Good.
And the certification varies depending on what is your segment. So if it's manufactured of packaging, it's ISO 2200. If it's food, it's 2201, for example.
Good. Remember, in the ad that we have, the Office of the Procurement Regulation, one of the fine lines had what any other requirement for your industry. What she's talking about here is requirements specific to the industry. Alright? That gives us a level of assurance to the customer that this product went through a certain process and is guaranteed every time. So I don't mind paying a premium price if that's what I'm getting. Consider that for your business.
May I also suggest, sometimes you buy an item and you would see on it, you would see recycling logo, or you would see organic, USD, whatever logo, USDA, thank you. You would see that logo. Some others use a different type. There's one that has the 3 arrows.
Yeah.
So each of those type of logos means some sort of quality assured certification, and you need to know. Now, if you are going on the international landscape, you may want to know, depending on the market you're going into, which sort of assurance you need to have. I can't find that out for you. You need to do the investigation and figure out. If you're going into the US market, what you need. If you're going into Canada, what do you need? If you're going to the UK market, what do you need? We always advise if you're going into an international scale, find out what those certifications are and get it. And a good rule of thumb is, if you kept your local item at international standards, if you start functioning at that level from the beginning, it's easy to do the transition. And Export TT is pretty good at helping persons make that transition, right?
Thank you. What are your customers' environmental concerns? How many of your customers really want to know that the products that you use to put your product together was not using child labor, for example?
The law that says it must say 60 days to
So look, your bag's over here. Your bag's over here.
Internship, all right. Perfectly. All right. Find out who you're serving as a customer and ask them, do you care that the products that I use is recyclable? Remember, you will not know until you ask. And the worst thing you can do in business is assume things. So we're putting this here for you to ask these questions as you're putting your plan together. Once you consider it, you can properly account for it and not be blindsided. All right? Can you buy the goods directly from the manufacturer, or must you buy them through a wholesaler? Which one do you think will be the cheaper process? Direct from the manufacturer, right? You think so? Direct from the manufacturer will be cheaper. Okay.
Is it the manufacturer will sell to you?
It depends.
Is it the manufacturer will sell to you?
Is it the manufacturer sell to you? Yes.
Not only that, sometimes the manufacturer might have a retail price, but because the market provides a wholesale price for customers, it's just more like a special price.
There you go. Some manufacturers have exclusive deals. Yes, they will not refuse you when you come to the warehouse, but they will sell you at a particular price. You may be better off getting it from a retailer, a designated retailer, because they want to encourage that type of business. Again, you need to know what type of business you are and provide incentives to get your product going. Yeah, I've done work with companies before who deliberately put that type of structure in place, where if you come by them, they will refuse you. But just know you may pay a little above what you can get in the market as an incentive for you to buy from their agents, who's faster for them. So don't assume, find out. That's the point of this slide. Yeah? Alright, so before we talk about buying, all the different considerations for buying, now we're going to talk about cost for your businesses. Any questions on buying? No? Simple enough? Good. Right. So, here you have fixed costs and variable costs. Anybody knows offhand the difference between fixed costs and variable costs? Yes.
So fixed costs are costs regardless of the production, and variable costs is a cost that will increase when things are more items produced. So, like electricity will be a variable cost, and rent will be a fixed cost.
So you're saying fixed costs, whether you produce one widget or 1,000, the fixed cost is the fixed cost. And variable costs is what you're saying? It increase or decrease in production. Okay. Anybody else?
So a fixed cost is something that is recurring, and a variable cost could be something that it always fluctuates due to the markets and such like that.
Alright. Give an example.
Like food health in a sense, a bag of rice could be maybe $20 to the no, it's a gas.
Yes.
Gas is always a cost that varies, it's always changing.
Alright. Now, you will experience this when you're putting your numbers together, alright? When you're putting the different line items to consider for opening a business. Fixed costs and variable costs is very specific and so sometimes it may be gray areas.
It might be interchangeable.
It might be interchangeable. Alright?
But typically, the fixed cost is exactly that, it's fixed, whereas the variable one is the one that moves. So gas may seem as if it's variable, but gas is usually treated as a fix because it's fuel, and that remains fixed. Just like their transportation might remain fixed, because even if it's a variable, what you do is you budget for a minimum amount for the month or whatever, and then you use that as your fixed cost. Whereas there are other things that moves with the volume. So depending on how much I'm producing this month, I may use more or less of a particular item. Right?
Yeah, so bear that in mind as we're putting in costing together. Alright? This entire session, we want you guys to use the Excel sheets, plug in the values every day, see the permutation, look at the cost rise or increase or anything like that. Contribution.
Because when we cut the space constraint here, you will want us to put things into a larger section.
What do you mean a larger section?
So instead of listing equipment and listing cost per equipment, you want us to put a broad category like equipment and the total cost based on how this is.
Okay. But if those aren't enough lines for you, you have the Excel sheets. Because remember, this exercise is more for you. We want you to spell out line by line what's required for your business. I recommend that you use the Excel sheets. Use the Excel sheet that was given to you. And so whenever you reflect here, even if it's a summary equation like your suggestion, putting things together, in the Excel sheet it's spelled out and the totals are the same. Yeah?
I do have a question. If you give business ideas, should I go to corporate? So say it's like a 5 years before you get this done. They don't necessarily want a loan. We have to just know get access to your thing, right? How does that work? Because the numbers will really show profits of the money, and from what I saw from the people in there, a lot of it was stretch for maybe like 18, I mean, like from year 5, my side started at 19, and by year 8,
So you tell me you were running a business for 8 years without realizing $1 profit.
yeah, I got that too, because of 5 years. And we have nothing to realize.
Is that responsible?
But if I could manage this, I'm not asking for this. And I'm seeing this.
So you're asking me, if you have a business that takes 8 years to realize a profit, how will you represent that in your business plan?
What's the plan, right? Is from what I understand, is that we can get access to either debt, if it is you want to go and take a loan, or your $20,000 grant over profits. Right? But if I say I want to plan to build a coconut, take 5 years to pay, how do I use that
see, remember, these plans that you put together is to show how you're going to make sense of whatever business idea that you have, right? And coming up with the best case business scenario, you will know the business better than anybody else. You have to know to move the numbers. If I were you and I'm doing a business plan to show something like a long-term crop, what I would focus on is really showing, itemizing, okay, this is how much it's going to take, this is how much it's going to return, and if you find that's good enough, I mean, put yourself in the investor's shoes.
But it's not, but that's what, like if I was going
You
to
are the investor I'm talking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Remember your business plan is for stakeholders. And if you're looking at it, you have to say, well, does this make sense? Does it not make sense? I can tell you what to put in your plan. You know what's best for you and your plan.
Nikita, because if we have other students in here who have that same question, somehow, and one student decided to have a short-term option in product or service, and they use that short-term product or service to show profitability in business while we wait for the harvest for the long term. So they did that. Now it means having to think of doing something else. But what they did is that they were able to show, okay, short term I will make this amount of money, and while it may not have high profit, but I will make it this amount of money, and then this will contribute in terms of capital towards this, and in the long term, coconut farm take 5-8 years, I will get a harvest at year 8. It will be X amount, and it means that my projection will move from 10,000 to 25,000. I'm just using sugar figures, but 25,000, and that has room. Bear in mind, somebody sitting down at a desk or a panel reviewing your business plan. What you don't want, remember your business plan in this case operating like the CV, right? Now your resume is to get you an interview. It's the same thing. So what you don't want is somebody reviewing your business plan and saying, okay, I have to determine who to give this money to. And they said, oh, this person, 8 years is business and this thing in business before she make any money now.
That's not understanding point. But it wasn't supposed to be a determinant who to give this money to. It was more like
It's supposed to have been across board.
right.
But I won't speak about what was said. I will simply say what is said now is that they will be reviewing business plans and determining based on the plans who gets what and how they get it. We don't know the details of it. So because of that, Gabriel and I don't want to make any pronouncements of it because we actually don't know the details of it. They are murmurings, and we don't want to speak towards that. What I would say, Nikita, is that if it is you are doing a plan, bear that in mind so that you don't shoot your own self in the foot.
You see, we are here to help you craft successful business plans. Remember the marketing plan ended for profit. Remember that? So we are encouraging you to think of different ways, different scenarios, different permutations to realize that, to make profit on the investment.
And in your case, if you have a long-term thing, think about a short-term plan and a long-term plan. You're doing your business plan, showing both, but you're showing that, okay, while you're waiting on this, you're doing this.
Akash, you have a question?
Apart from that, but I've preferred to still be in contact right with regards to the money.
For us, yeah, that's what we get a lot of.
I've preferred.
Yes.
There were Fridays, the deadline.
Fridays, deadline for submissions for NETCO and the administrators of their program for this, for SYU.
Right.
Right?
Last question on your topic.
Like people who do crop plan,
Yeah.
where exactly is not when you get I was in a trouble with the overseas for 3 years. Now, in the interim, my plan was to actually source these new customers.
Yes.
And while my position established, I still in the process
So you all heard that contribution? What he is saying is that if, let's say he wanted to manufacture cocoa, right? He's saying that it will take some time for the trees to grow, for him to harvest the cocoa beans and to do what he needs to do. So in the meantime, he knows that that's going to take a period of time. So in the meantime, what he will do, while he waits for his trees to grow, he will get his beans from somebody else. And then do the processing part. So he will develop the processing part and that part first while he waits on his trees.
Which is a good suggestion. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Again, let's come with ideas to make your plan. Nobody's telling you what to do or not to do. Come with a plan that's profitable. Okay, last question.
No, I mean, I was just wondering if like the grant has to be, if there be a mix of like, if you have to spend the grant money on the land, but like the profit is essentially coming from an ancillary something.
Listen, the hardest part about starting a business, or a good business idea, or a good business plan, is thinking. You have to think through these difficult questions to get answers that make sense. You want to do things that make sense at the end of the day. Alright?
It makes
So-
sense for me to work.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I could understand why not making sense, but making sense to me to work.
Maybe we need a little bit more time to think about it. Maybe we need a little bit more time to process and think on it.
You find so.
I think remember, and the teacher has 1 day.
Right.
And then submission is the same as and the teacher.
This is why every day when you have homework, you're building the plan together.
So I think that's not what I do, but at the end of the day, when you have all of this stuff followed, you have to do the proper thought procedure. You have to do the
That is part of, that is part of
So
the
we
Wait.
but the submission time, I mean, just probably for that paper, especially when it's generated in society. That's all it was.
Hold on.
Because we are doing this with you.
So every time we go, we're supposed to do.
Yes.
Business is business, right? But you know why we're doing business,
This
right?
program has been put across 2 weeks. 2 weeks. No, 2 weeks. We're not talking about UIB. SYB is 2 weeks, which is 10 days. We usually do this in 5 days. And you have to produce and submit and everything in 5 days. We spread it over in 2 weeks to give persons time.
I told you at the beginning of this program, this is an intensive program. But I didn't believe me. I didn't know talking. This is an intense program. And even in this program, is that I do what you have to do, but I recommend that you do what you have to do.
No.
So in a sense, I'm finish this book with your business plan. What is this? What we're doing as if I individual and finish. Oh, the government is saying that start.
Alright, so this exercise here,
Because that was
I'm going
mine.
to give you guys 7 minutes amongst yourselves. You can work in pairs, you can work in groups. Think about your business and list the things that you need to buy to start your business. Think about the equipment, the raw material, the finished goods. Requirements, suppliers, and costs. You don't have to be exact. You want some numbers, some averages. 7 minutes. Time for your 7 minutes. handing up on Friday is not the final thing. You have a year before you can access. Okay. What I can say to that is, that's not really my business. I am here to execute a program. I'm here to judge your understanding of the program, submit my report. That's it. The end. Thank you very much. So all of this grease period giving on themselves, I mean.
What we will say is that they did ask us to review these business plans, and we have to assess it and give back feedback. And I don't want to use the word grade, but we need to say something towards the plans, right?
Because they told us that we passed and failed.
Right. So, because bearing that in mind, someone suggested, well, don't tell the truth, just do a lie and make a change after. And I'm suggesting to you, try to parallel what you're doing in your business plan with your business idea, with the business idea that you would have put in when you were coming into the program, or that you have intentions of executing on the land. That's what I'm saying. We are not going to go into whether or not, so let me use the mushroom. So the reason why I'm using the mushroom, because it's 3 parts and I love it because it's that. So there's no way for them to fully execute what they need to do, because it's our whole industry they are creating. We have consumers of mushroom in Trinidad. We don't have specifically mushroom producers or a large industry. If somebody is doing it, they're doing it in a little port. There's not an industry. So they are creating an industry. It is impossible for them to be able to create an industry in this short space of time, or to be able to give anybody a full blow-by-blow business plan of how this industry is going to rule. So my advice would have been, if I am dealing with something like that, I will deal with Pat, or since it's 3 persons that is handling this for this industry, each one take 1 part and they work on that 1 part and they submit that as part of their business plan. You understand? And then you can specialize in whatever you want after. You can specialize in what particular area you want to work in after. But do a small scale something so that you can put and you can submit and you can give them, so that they understand, one, you understand the industrial field of business you want to get into, that you have a good idea of your business idea, that you have considered the cost and all the different components of actually having a business, and that you're not just doing it because, oh, I got an idea, and you feel that getting an idea and getting money will equal immediately a profitable business. You need to show them that you understood and considered all the components that will get you to a profitable business. And that is what they want to see in the business plan. They would look at how many details, how much details each person is putting in their plan. So the person who takes the time and put the details, the person who says, okay, I'm going to do a sales estimation for a year, and then I'm going to go the extra mile and give you 3 years, no problem. Because that person shows that they're not just looking at this as a fluke, or they're not just lying to get the thing and then they go on to something else.
I'm going to draw your attention to an exercise we did before. For those of you who have aspirations of working together, but somehow can differentiate, please remember the exercise we did on producing frozen mangoes, marketed frozen mangoes, and packet frozen mangoes. All of them focus on one industry, but different components of the industry. You can have an entire business plan based on this. You can have an entire business plan based on the other. Agreed? This is the exercise. You have 5 minutes. Look at the equipment, raw material, and finished goods required for your specific business idea. Alright?
Pretty finished. Not everybody will have
categories mean?
So raw materials would be what you make, right? What you're using to make your product. Or for service base would be what the things that you need to deliver the service. And your finished good would be the actual product. Or for service would be the actual outcome of service that is being delivered.
Let's say for example,
So if you're using, so if it is your farming sweet peppers, I'm going to use that, right? Let's say you're farming sweet peppers. You have the farm, you farm the sweet peppers. You harvest the sweet pepper. One layer finished good is the actual sweet pepper. You're selling that item. Let's say you take that sweet pepper, you cut up the sweet pepper, you put it in one of those nice plastic trays, and you put it with other things, and you put it in a grocery, right? As a chow mein pack. That is now another finished good. Both of them are finished goods, but just at different stages. Does that happen? Okay. Yeah. Yes. Right? Fertilizers, all of those things would be considered your raw material. So like a person, let's say you want to have a branch and always selling their raw material, which is the pro-mix and all the different things that make up the bag and the trays and all that, that make up that because their first product is natural seed, because that's what you said. Yes. So your finished product is that packaged by yes, the mature one.
Alright, timer. Time in. 54 seconds.
Any questions on equipment and raw materials and finished goods? Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's for the equipment.
Equipment would be your spray can. It would be you could categorize it. So you could have large equipment, then you can have tools.
If it's not able to
You can
resolve
have-
any process.
Yes.
Basically, what stage you what avoid when they go
Yeah.
to finish it.
Yes.
Alright, let's get some submissions. Equipment requirements. Anybody who has identified some equipment they require to get their business going.
That's great, man.
A spray gun, can we hear that one? Anybody else?
A dehydrator.
Building materials. Alright, that's like what?
A what?
A dehydrator.
A dehydrator.
A dehydrator. Nice. What?
PVC.
PVC, good.
Huh? Gardening tools, yes, gardening tools.
Anybody put any vehicles that they would need? Yes? Vehicles?
Cardboard vehicles.
Cardboard vehicles. We have a question here.
If you're renting it, or if it is, you need to prepare the land,
Land preparation.
right? For land preparation, you can identify what your requirement for equipment will be, and then you can know who is the supplier of that. Right? So, put it downstairs. Yeah. If you are providing the finished good, in what case?
So let's say I'm doing
Uh-huh.
and I'm doing cleaning work. So I know my property and I'm buying some items for myself. Then I know the buyer.
No.
I mean like that.
For you to have that finished good, what are the things you need for the finished good? Do you have to get packaging? Who provides that packaging? Do you have to get labels? Who provides those labels? Do you have to get a sealer or whatever? Who provided that? Right? And then you put who is the supplier that would give you that information, that provision.
What are some examples of raw materials you put? Seedlings, chicken feed,
Herbs and spices.
fertilizers, manure. What else goes into putting together your product? Raw materials. They said that.
But the herbs and spices will be a raw material as well.
Herbs and spices.
Right, for the seasoning pack. Yes.
Alright, what about finished goods?
What?
Yes, livestock can be raw material.
What is that one?
She asked if livestock can be raw material, and the answer is yes.
Okay, yeah.
Because if it's a finished product is something else,
If finished product
yes.
is meat to finished product, so that will be on.
Well, my finished product is dry all-purpose seasoning.
Dry all-purpose seasoning. So you buy that as a finished product to add to your
Yeah, so
process.
it's going to be dehydrator, the herbs and spices, going into the dehydrator to dry the herbs and spices, to create dry all-purpose.
Okay, alright.
And all the different
And you
things.
did mention dehydrated as equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And put the supply.
Yeah.
So you all heard that question, right? The question was, if it is you were doing a hydroponic system or aquaponic system. She asked if it is you are buying, if you're buying the whole system, whether or not you're putting it in pieces, if you're breaking it up. So if you're buying a whole hydroponic system for a specific vendor, then you put hydroponic system, you may want to put the size of the system, so you know what capacity of system, and then you put the supplier who is going to do that. The requirements, you will put the capacity and all of that, and then you will put the supplier and you will put the cost. If you're buying the whole system. Now if you are building your own system, and you need PVC pipes, you have to get the pump, you have to get all the conduits or whatever, then you do the breakdown, you put the requirement, you put the supplier, get the parts from, and then you put the cost. Does that help? Alright.
Any questions on this table? Does anyone not understand any part of this diagram?
Your discussion just right? Just like when finished goods is finished good that I want to produce, correct?
Finished goods, remember this section deals with buying for your business, right? So if there's any finished goods needed for your business process, put it here.
if I pack in my in boxes, I have to
The boxes that you need for your packaging. The label boxes, or the boxes and the labels taken out as a finished
I
item.
would further clarify understanding customer. I further clarify in terms of the finished goods. So we had a question about that here. So if my finished goods is seedlings, if I'm a plant shop, what I'm selling is seedlings, right? Then it means that my raw material will be all the things that I need in order to get produce seedlings. So when I have the seedlings is the finished good.
No, I mean, top, you said the things you need to buy. When you look at the line on top.
Right.
The things you need to buy.
The things you need to buy.
So if you produce the seedling, you're not buying it, so it shouldn't be on the table.
No, she's saying the raw material, she's producing seedlings.
Right.
So her finished goods is the seedlings.
But on the top there, you
I
line
understand
on
what you're saying. She asked the question, if I am selling seedlings, what do I need? So the raw, went through what is the raw material? When you reach finished goods, what are all the things you need for that finished good for you to sell?
you package it.
You package it.
But you see, if you're producing seedlings and they have their list of things you need to buy to start a business, you would not need to buy the seedling because you're producing the seedling. So you
I
need the
understand
seedling.
that. But under finished good, she needs to state what the finished good is, and then she needs to state what are the things she needs to get for it.
Yes,
I
but
disagree.
if she did it with seedlings,
Understand?
I understand, I just
yes,
disagree,
if
because it
she
has
did
to
it
be
with
something
seedlings,
things needed
the
to
raw
buy.
material be seeds.
Yes.
Yes. So her raw materials is the seeds, the pro-mix, all the things that she needs in order to produce her finished product, which is seedlings. And then when she reaches seedlings, what are the things that she needs to buy for her finished product?
Alright, okay. Alright, one class.
Right?
Last question on this.
So,
Yeah, so you start.
if there's something like that skill that they use to do it, right? Now, all of that, literally,
Yeah. Yes?
I'm not sure that question is but let's say alright, so I'm a beekeeper. I already have my hives. So I'm going to incorporate my hives into this business. And do I need to cost for the hive, or do I need to just show that how much money those hives will bring into the business?
So you want to know what to put in this section with regards to the hives and the system to get the
So I already have a established system producing.
you have it already.
Yes. So do I put the cost for that, or do I put how much that is in?
Right. Now, here you can put anything that you need to buy to start. Even though you have it, what I always recommend is that you put the costing of it in your business plan. Alright, still indicate it, still put it there.
You would have to develop it.
Yeah.
So you have to create it. So just like the hydroponic system, you would just name hive system. So now,
Because you have to remember this is cost.
supplier, you put your name and you put a cost.
It has value.
Right? That's what you will do because you will have to build it and that will be your equipment for the other things that you do.
Alright, so that is the end of today's Alright, okay, one class, everybody has a question. Right, I was explaining to another colleague of yours. If you have an extensive listing of requirements, you put it on the Excel sheet. For the book, you can summarize but get the same totals. That's fine. And I recommend you do one business idea, not multiple. You can have a phase 2 of your business, that's fine. Whatever you comfortable with.
pretty good. Jesus. I know you sign up for that. I've never seen this together, but I want to do them separate. Everything is, yeah, separate. I have that. Yeah, let's see that. This is how much